I am so aware that I manipulate myself and I manipulate people in behalf of a goal. And I see him absolutely always working toward the goal. He knows where he's going. And he invites the patient to go with him. And then he says he goes with the patient. And it's true that he goes with the patient, but he is indicating the way. And I think you minimize your artistry. And I think that some of the questions in terms of family therapy is, I think that your ideology about change requires that you should be visible. And to me, you are very visible. Okay, start with that.
Okay, so do I respond to your question or say what I really like about your work? I'd like to respond to that question, but I'd also like to say what I really like about Salvador Minuchin's work. We were chatting just briefly before we started this open forum, and Sal asked me how long I'd been involved in working with families, and I started formally working with families in family therapy in 1973, which is not so long ago, really. Salvador Minuchin's work was an inspiration to me. You know, that what was so clear about what you were writing, and because I only had access to your written work, was this sense that things were radically open for change. There was such a hopefulness in your work. Nothing was settled. It wasn't if somehow, you know, we grow and by the time we're 5 or 6, everything's somehow fixed. It was such a challenge to that. You know, in reading your work, the sense that we're all radically open to change, and that identity is always being developed and redeveloped through interaction in conversations, and I was so drawn to that. I was also drawn to what I managed to get hold of in terms of transcripts of your work, and there was something about the way that you listened very acutely to people's store expressions, and you were able to respond to cues. You know, that these cues were like invitations in a sense that people were extending to you to enter into their lives and the stories of their lives, and I had a sense of a special, something that was very acute about your hearing, and I remember being at the time quite curious about the background to that. I think that they're skills, you know, those sort of listening skills, being attuned to these invitations that people are offering to, because when people come to consult us, they have many agendas, but there are some agendas that are really on the top that they may not speak openly about at the outset, and you always seem to be able to identify that agenda. And so I was very drawn to that. It's just so much hopefulness, so much possibility. The other thing that I mentioned to Sal just in the conversation before we got going here was that there was something about a consciousness of the politics of local culture in what you were doing. I remember your book Families of the Slums, and I remember other pieces that I managed to get hold of. An awareness of of disadvantage and the effects of disadvantage on people's experiences of life. Disadvantage is a context for people's problems, and never forgetting that. I know that you sometimes refer to the importance of always bringing in the social fabric. And for me, there was implicitly some appreciation of the power relations of class, and that was really appealing to me. I come from a working class family, a relatively poor working class family, and was entirely conscious of the power relations of class, you know, through every area of my life, you know, even through my education. So I was drawn to that, and so there was something about the political that resonated so much with me. I was fortunate to be a student during the 1960s, during the anti-Vietnam War era, and or during the Vietnam War era. For me, it was in the anti-Vietnam War era, and I was involved in student politics. And